Outside the school right now, the tension is peaking, helicopters are buzzing everywhere, and the cops have the place completely boxed in. And what a coincidence, this high school happens to be the deputy chief's beloved alma mater. Using his top-tier map reading skills via the live stream screen, Chief Phil pinpointed the shooter's hideout with precision. No more yapping, the chief and his squad of 500 brothers geared up in full armor and breached the building. Meanwhile, the organization's big boss and the major are lurking from a distance, just camping and watching the drama unfold. From the jump, they'd already decided to leave their subordinate out to dry. Zero support, strictly ghosting. In the eyes of these old snakes, Gale getting deleted is the ultimate PR move to make the Animal Liberation Alliance trend across the entire internet. But life isn't always a dream. When the cops swarmed the classrooms, a chills moment that completely flipped their predictions slapped them right in the face. Charlie, the thorn in the side who Chief Phil used to discriminate against 24/7, is currently speed-running the deadline to move wounded students to the safe zone. Despite having a dozen black barrels aimed straight at his face, the guy stayed cool boy mode, calmly informing the squad that there's still a pile of victims inside waiting to be saved. Chief Phil is actually a big brain player who knows how to tell right from wrong. Seeing this, he dropped his ego and lowered his weapon, immediately hitting the mic to direct the rescue team to sweep the area and save everyone. Switching the camera, Gale has now kicked down the door to Lucy's classroom. Standing before a livestream with tens of thousands of viewers, he started screaming his pre-written script about his motives. You people are always preaching and telling me not to force my thoughts on others. Then why the hell do you pass a death sentence on innocent animals just to stuff your faces with meat? I'm here to rip off your fake masks and force some logic into your striking brains. You guys don't even have the right to choose. Right at that clutch or kick moment, the phone of the girl hiding under the podium with Lucy suddenly started playing a song of hope. A total thrower, Gale slowly turned his head, carrying a murderous aura as he took slow steps toward the podium. The guy standing next to Lucy was so scared his soul left his body, his brain lagged, so he closed his eyes and made a blind dash for it. As a result, he ate Gale's full lead combo and disconnected from the server immediately. Witnessing that bloody live deletion, the teammate sabotaging girl next to her went into total psychological trauma and couldn't help but let out a eardrum-shattering scream. Following that scream were Gale's bullets piercing right through the podium. The girl's audio cut out, officially closing the chapter on her life. At this point, the entire classroom has been cleared out, leaving only Lucy behind. But instead of sending her to the lobby too, Gale froze, didn't pull the trigger, and straight up called out Lucy's real name. Lucy recognized the voice instantly. The reason this guy spared her life was actually basic as hell. Lately at the cafeteria, he'd been clocking Lucy's vibes. Her main trait was being a cultivator tier vegan, spending the whole day just stuffing her face with veggies, a certified plant-based queen. Just as Gale was about to pull a U-turn and dip, Lucy suddenly lost her brain cells and called him back. She boldly doused him in ice-cold water, telling him that these unhinged stunts he's pulling have absolutely zero light of justice in them. Gale hit the brakes and clapped back with a depressed tone. You might be right, but that absolutely doesn't mean those meat munchers are living correctly either. After the guy left, Charlie rushed in like a moth to a flame, searching for the classroom. Seeing Lucy's head was still intact, he finally let out a sigh of relief, dropping the massive rock in his chest. Hearing Charlie wanting to go catch Gale's head, Lucy's conditioned reflex kicked in to stop him, fearing he'd get deleted. But when she glanced out the window and saw the tactical units armed to the teeth swarming like a broken beehive, she suddenly caught a Saint Mother case of pity. She wanted to go convince Gale to turn himself in for a chance at mercy, since nobody wanted to see him turned into a human colander by police bullets. Scene change. Gale, holding his livestream rig, casually limped into the music room. Standing before the masses with tens of thousands of viewers, he openly started flirting with the idea of recruiting Charlie, even buffing him with the title of leader of the Animal Liberation Alliance. He barked at the lens, claiming that 500 of Charlie's fellow species were out there being tortured and struggling for their lives. As the only animal gifted with the human speech skill, Charlie absolutely shouldn't just sit there and throw a tantrum. This high-tier ship pushing successfully put Charlie right in the eye of the storm. However, by the time the cops did the math and breached the music room, the place was empty. The culprit had ghosted, leaving behind only the mask and the live stream gear still hitting its KPIs. Ironically, it was the duo of Lucy and Charlie who actually caught Gale's tail back at the school cafeteria. Turns out, Lucy's hawk eyes caught the wall clock in the livestream frame, and it was completely out of sync with real time. She calculated it instantly. Gale's stream was delayed by several minutes. Combined with Charlie's out-of-this-world radar knows that out-tiers humanity, the two successfully drifted their way here. Charlie opened the combat with a preachy chorus, "Stop acting tough and turn yourself in, Gale. If you stay in my shadow, the cops won't dare to start spraying lead." But Gale had officially disconnected, falling into a state of severe overthinking. The guy was mumbling to himself, cursing his own soul for sending so many innocent people to the lobby while he didn't even have the guts to self-reset his own life. His brain recalled the boss's order: if you're still breathing to get cuffed at the end of this raid, the organization's media KPI is officially down the drain. Lucy was just about to open her mouth and cast another convincing spell when 500 tactical units swarmed the cafeteria like a festival crowd. They shouted at the top of their lungs for everyone to put their hands up, crouch down, and face the floor. Lucy and Charlie were good kids and followed orders instantly, leaving only Gale standing there frozen, mumbling some brain-dead nonsense. He whispered a line that was peak depression. "Big thanks to you, Charlie, suddenly I can't hear the pig screaming anymore." After dropping that cold as ice final message, the guy suddenly raised his gun, ready to go full crash out and trade lives with the cops. In the literal final second of stoppage time, Charlie used alter-tear speed to snatch Lucy and yeet her into a safe corner. Immediately after, before the cops could spray lead and send Gale to the sky, Charlie launched a high kick that sent the guy flying straight into the wall. Charlie's speed was officially out-tearing humanity. He finished that combo and still had time to turn back and perfectly catch Lucy, who he'd just tossed. The server-shattering terror attack finally closed its books with the main antagonist being hauled off to drink tea with the feds. Watching the drama from a car parked far away, the organization's big boss saw the plot twist but started clapping like a fanboy because Charlie dared to break the original script. Even though the Martyr Hero project totally flopped, the media KPI for clout farming the Animal Liberation Alliance went way over the limit. And obviously, part 2 of the Central Circus was already getting ready to film. Exactly 1 week after the shooting, Hughes high-lit the candles for a memorial service for those who disconnected. But the aftershocks of this drama were still muddying the waters of the internet. In just 7 short days, physical combat started breaking out across all servers, targeting fast food joints and anyone using animal products. As for Charlie, being the top trending character of the event, he should have been hauled in for questioning, but apparently, blinded by his massive team carry record of saving people, Chief Phil decided to pull a U-turn and set Charlie free, handing him right back to his foster mom, Hannah. The chief didn't forget to enter serious mode and warn Hannah, "Absolutely do not hand this kid over to any organization. As a lawyer, you understand this logic way better than I do." Senator Linares also scrambled to Charlie's house to get the tea. She was the one who approved the Red Book permit for Hannah and Bert to keep raising Charlie. In her frame of reference, these two are the peak parent versions for the kid, but she also dropped a cold reality check. Until the Dark Animal Liberation Alliance is completely bagged, Charlie better stay rooted at home, banned from even putting on his sandals to go out. As for going back to school, forget it, don't even dream about it. That night, Lucy hopped on a video call to spill the tea with Charlie. On the call, Charlie was barking big, saying he wanted to completely smash the Animal Liberation Alliance. The guy was even plotting, "They're so thirsty for me, all I have to do is drop my location and they'll automatically show up at the door." Hearing that self-destruct script, Lucy's heart almost fell out. She pleaded with him to stop with the main character delusions and just stay chill. Having not seen Charlie for days, Lucy was feeling extremely empty and lonely. After hanging up, her clutch mode kicked in. She decided to hop on her bike in the middle of the night to head to his place for a face-to-face heart-to-heart. But the second she hit the front door, oh boy, people were swarming the place like a music festival, blocking every entrance. The mayor was holding the mic on behalf of the whole town, loudly demanding that Charlie's family pack their bags and move out immediately. This tiny town of Hughes is officially saying bye-bye. It can no longer hold a 1,000-pound Buddha like Charlie. That's the end of episode 7. Don't be a ghost viewer. 500 brothers, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell to support the channel. Bye-bye. The Superhuman Chimpanzee with Giga Strength episode 8 is officially live and it's absolute straight fire. To the 500 brothers out there, smash that like and subscribe button to buff the shop's energy. Now let's get into it. Opening episode 8 is a heated yap session where an old head starts lecture maxing, preaching to the world that the ALA animal rights group absolutely does not support terrorism like the rumors say. On the contrary, their ideology is real deal anti-terrorism. Opening episode 8 is a heated yap session where an old head starts lecture maxing, preaching to the world that the ALA animal rights group absolutely does not support terrorism like the rumors say. On the contrary, their ideology is real deal anti-terrorism. The opposition heard that and got salty as hell, jumping in to trash talk the vegans without missing a beat. Conflict erupted across the whole server, getting so intense that the FBI had to spawn a special task force to restore order. Special agents Maurice Williams and Kyle Foster officially landed in Shrews to start their investigation. Switching scenes to the residence of Mr. and Mrs. Stein, Charlie's foster parents. A unit of aggressive thugs pulled up to press them at the front gate, shouting and demanding the whole family get kicked from Shrews and take that troublemaker monkey with them. The big boss Ronnie Schultz stepped out to identify his old acquaintance Gilbert Stein, calmly venting before switching up and attacking, calling the Steins a bunch of delusional vegans. The crowd started screaming and crying, blaming the shooting that deleted a bunch of kids on the Steins for bringing Charlie home. According to their logic, Charlie's arrival only brought more disaster to this town. Seeing her bestie getting brutally pressed, Lucy went combat mode and jumped in to carry the team in defense. She straight up called the crowd a bunch of trash for threatening Charlie without even checking the VAR on any info. Lucy locked in the fact that Charlie was actually the hero who saved countless students' lives. Pastor Maxwell quickly jumped in with his NPC script, yapping about how demons deceive humanity, but Lucy immediately clapped back to his face, "It's the 21st century and you're still playing witch hunter? Stop being so delusional, old man." One salty guy lunged forward and grabbed her tight. In that clutch moment, Charlie spawned out of nowhere, his voice deep as he ordered them to unhand Lucy immediately. The crowd saw Charlie's outdipping strength and was frozen like glue, screaming that this was demon power and hard evidence of him colluding with terrorist organizations. The Stein family stood on business, firmly demanding the mob get out of their house and threatening to call the cops for trespassing. Luckily, the two FBI agents were touring nearby and intervened just in time. The crowd saw the law energy and snakewalked their way out, claiming they were just neighbors visiting before evaporating completely. Before dipping, Old Man Ronnie threw back a preachy warning: national law is just a grain of sand compared to the world and can't override the supreme laws set by God. Inside the cozy house, while Hannah and Mr. Burt were checking their emails, the deputy sheriff sent a text. Lucy did a self-audit and apologized for going to combat mode earlier and accidentally cussing out everyone, ruining her image. Mr. Burt gave her a serious reality check, demanding Lucy watch her mouth for her own safety. But the girl doubled down with some troll logic, saying that in such a tense-as-hell situation, it would be a waste of an opportunity not to talk trash. Seeing her so aggressive, the family just gave up, jokingly suggesting Lucy should become a lawyer since she'd make bank with those arguments. Meanwhile, Mr. Burt looked at Charlie and suddenly realized the guy had glowed up recently, looking way more buff and solid. Over at the authorities' side, the police and FBI were holding a high-stress blame game meeting. They checked the footage and identified the corpse found in the woods weeks ago as the Rainy Ash Carney owner. But the most heart-stopping detail was a world-shaking fact in the shooting report that had been gatekept and hidden. When the police were about to pull the trigger, the student Charlie clutched the situation and blocked them hard. The FBI caught a golden opportunity to gatekeep the truth, claiming this was hard evidence that Charlie had a secret link with the ALA terrorists, and demanded to haul him to the station for an interrogation right then and there. The FBI dragged the police for being trashed here when they released Charlie after the shooting, while the police clapped back, calling the FBI noobs for failing to bust the ALA since the New York incident. Deputy Sheriff Graham had to step in to stop the inter-server beef, reminding everyone that the ultimate goal is catching the ALA and restoring order, telling both sides to stop the yap session and find a legit excuse to yank the monkey Charlie. The FBI did a deep dive analysis on the clout of that loudmouth Ronnie Schultz, the guy who's literally rigging the sheriff elections. The final plan was to just camp and wait for a massive skirmish between the Steins and the neighbors, then use that as an excuse to swoop in and secure Charlie. The next morning, the news leaked out of nowhere that Charlie protected the shooter, making the internet trolls go feral with conspiracy theories that Charlie is an inside man for the terrorists. Lucy was sitting with Mr. Burt when her brain suddenly connected the dots on a trippy as hell detail. That terrorist from the other day kept calling her by a weird flex nickname, the girl with kaleidoscope eyes. Mr. Burt, being big-brained with elite knowledge, decoded it instantly. This is actually a lyric from Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds from the legendary 8th album by the Beatles. This song once hit fake news rumors about being a drug hallucination because the initials spell out LSD, but in reality, John Lennon was just inspired by his son's drawing of a friend named Lucy flying in the sky. The peak IQ moment is that back in 1974, an international research squad unboxed an ancient ape-man fossil in Ethiopia from about 3.2 million years ago. While excavating, they coincidentally played this song, so they locked in the name Lucy for that legendary fossil. The Lucy fossil shook the world because her brain size was only as big as a chimp's, yet she had the ability to walk upright on two legs. She's viewed as the common ancestor, standing right on the historical evolution boundary between chimps and humans, which is the exact same biological UI Charlie has right now. On the other side of the fence, Deputy Sheriff Phil Graham was dropping by Ronnie's place. Ronnie was trash-talking the Gen Alpha kids today, saying they don't learn anything useful at school. Then he got straight to business, venting that the villagers are currently salty as hell and grieving after the school shooting deleted a bunch of students. Ronnie tried to calm them down with a promise to kick that monkey's family out of town. But that wasn't extra enough to stop the rage. A tragedy this big demands a blood payment. Phil firmly stated that Charlie isn't linked to terrorism, and his family just got unlucky being dragged into this mess. But Ronnie played the street philosopher card, saying this isn't about logic or who's right or wrong. When humans swallow a bunch of meaningless tragedies, their way of clapping back is to blindly attack anything in sight that's just their undeniable nature. When an angry mob gathers, it's impossible to control. If sacrificing a monkey makes the crowd happy, then it's worth it. Phil protested against finding a scapegoat, but Ronnie locked in that he doesn't care who's right or wrong, he's old and just wants this drama to evaporate somewhere else. Phil promised to personally pressure the Stein family to move out quietly to ease the public tension, telling Ronnie to try and gatekeep those hotheads for a bit longer. While Charlie's family was having a cozy dinner, boom, a rock flew straight into the house and shattered the glass, giving the mom a gigascare. The next morning, while Charlie was parkour maxing on the trees for exercise, Phil hauled himself over to the house. He dropped the news that they caught the 12-year-old brat who threw the rock. Turns out his brother was an unlucky victim in that school shooting incident. Phil used his NPC script to give advice, but he was actually gaslighting and pressuring Mr. Burt to take Charlie and drift away from this town to be done with it. Phil used the excuse that this villa is too massive and located right next to the woods, making it impossible to gatekeep their security. Burt straight up said no. He started venting about how 15 years ago, he put in the work to move to this middle-of-nowhere spot just to set up a pixel-perfect and wild living environment for Charlie to evolve naturally. His wife, Hannah, even grinded to pass the bar exam and get a law license in this state. Phil smirked and trolled back, "Why not just release that monkey back into the tropical jungle for freedom?" Bert snapped back, saying whether it's a monkey or a human, they are both high-tier social creatures who need a proper community to grow up with healthy mental vibes. Phil dragged Bert for being a delusional dreamer who only sees life through a pink filter, then went on a villain arc rant about how the world is down bad ruthless. He yapped about how the world is naturally cruel and zero logic to the max, like how barbecue shops make pigs wear chef hats and smile while greeting customers. Poachers delete elephants for their tusks and then carve them into full-sized elephant statues. Poor kids are being exploited for labor on cocoa plantations while they've never even tasted the sweetness of a chocolate bar in their entire lives. Phil dropped a salty final line saying the world has been trashed here since his great-grandpa's time, reality is cruel, meaningless, and full of eternal pain that never changes. If Bert can't accept that ugly truth, then he's just living in the clouds and delusional just like those terrorists. Bert heard that and clapped back instantly, calling Phil the one who's tripping and dreaming in broad daylight. Bert dropped a deep as hell and cold line, life is a constant change, and there is no other path to avoid that evolution. And if humans don't change to level up, they might as well just log out of life. Unable to outdiff him in the argument, Bert closed the door and kicked the guest out, affirming his family isn't going anywhere. If hate is the core issue, then camping anywhere else in the US would just result in getting trashed the same way. The episode wrapped up with a plot twist when Deputy Sheriff Phil just started driving away from the Stein house only to be gatekept by Lucy blocking his car. The girl boldly declared that today she didn't want to spawn near Charlie, her goal was to hop in and have a private chat with Phil. The drama is about to cook and get intense maxing in the next episode, brothers. Remember to smash that follow button to catch the gigahook developments in the next one. Bye bye.